Fethullah Gulen seems to demonstrate the completeness and the wholeness of Islam, in that he focuses on the establishment of schools, the focus on math and science in the curriculum, the development of the sciences, as well as spiritual attainment. As you know, Turkey is generally considered a secular country, but what I know in the nation of Turkey, I saw the development of education, the establishment of schools on all levels. Islam, as all of you know, as we know, is a complete way of life. And Fethullah Gulen seems My name is Imam Askia Muhammad. I am the president of the New Africa Economic Development Council here in New York City, and I'm a member of the association of our late leader, Imam Askia Muhammad. I first encountered the Hizmet movement in 2009. We had the opportunity to take a trip to Turkey, and we saw some of the great works of the Hizmet movement. That was basically our first introduction. My memory of the works of the Hizmet movement was virtually overwhelming. I saw the dedication toward the common good in the nation of Turkey. I saw the development of education, the establishment of schools on all levels. We visited hospitals in Turkey, and all of these institutions were established by the Hizmet movement. As you know, Turkey is generally considered a secular country, but what I noticed in Turkey is that Islam was deeply rooted in the hearts of the people. And so if people were not confessed Muslims, their actions and deeds, as I noticed it, reflected Islam in their spirit and in their hearts. And Fethullah Gulen is a man, from what I see, completely dedicated to serving Allah and to doing good for the people of Turkey and for many nations and people outside of Turkey. I believe that he has it right in that he presents a balanced approach to Islam. You know, it's not all spiritual and all religious, but Islam, as all of you know, as we know, is a complete way of life. And Fethullah Gulen seems to demonstrate the completeness and the wholeness of Islam, in that he focuses on the establishment of schools, the focus on math and science in the curriculum, the development of the sciences, as well as spiritual attainment. And this broad approach, to me, captures his most significant achievement. We also visited the major newspaper in the country of Turkey, and the dedication of those who are managing and editing the newspaper, and those who are workers with the newspaper. I see that there's every attempt to establish the wholesomeness of what Islam actually represents. Because Islam is not actually only religion. is a complete and comprehensive way of life. And that is the most significant thing that I notice. See, we cannot, in the 21st century, only focus on religion. The Prophet Muhammad, sallallahu alaihi wasallam, he focused on Islam as a complete and comprehensive way of life. And that I see Fethullah Gulen is in line with how the Prophet Muhammad presented Islam. And I see this as very significant in the nation of Turkey, as well as the works that are being done here in the United States of America. I think balance is critical. Allah says in the Quran that we're ummatun wasatan, that the community, the ummah, is a balanced ummah. And that means it's balance between our spiritual needs and our rational and material needs. So there is a balance, and Fethullah Gulen appears to strike that balance very completely and very comprehensively. And I say this because I have actually worked with members of the Hizmet movement, and this is what I have seen and what I have observed from them. I observe a dynamic balance as to how they approach their work in helping the needy and dealing with the issues of modern society. There's one thing that I know, especially from dealing with discrimination and the attempts to misrepresent what Islam is all about here in the United States. With any movement that is serving the people and working for good, there's going to be opposition. You know, and when I talk to members of the Hizmet movement, I ask them, did you not see that there would be opposition coming? You know, and they said, yes, we did. You know, but this is part and parcel of every noble and good movement that has ever sought to establish itself in the world. And we could look at our Prophet Muhammad and we see that when he sought to establish Islam and when he was receiving revelation from the Quran, that his own tribes people fought against him to literally wipe him out. They even attempted to kill him and eliminate the good works that he was doing. So opposition is part and parcel of the work. And the good work that Fethullah Gulen is doing throughout the world certainly hasn't gone unnoticed. People see the good quality work that he's doing. And I believe wholeheartedly in those good works. And the Prophet said that one way you get to know people is to live with them, travel with them, and work with them. And I've traveled and worked closely with some of the members of the Hizmet movement. And I see firsthand that they're dedicated servants and that they're true to their word and that they do make all manner of sacrifices for the common good of all people. There's no question about that. And Fethullah Gulen himself is not a phony or fake. You know, I learned about his little living quarters. And in fact, that he's not just consuming money hand over fist. You know, that he lives very modestly. And so this lets me know that we're dealing with a movement that is sincere and that is trying to do all that is good for the pleasure of God, the Most High. And I think that by virtue of doing this kind of good work, there's going to be opposition. But I think the opposition is going to fail. And as we can see that the government there in Turkey right now is not having such a good time right now. In my opinion, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is moving against any and all institutions that attempt to thwart or defame or undermine the good efforts that the Hizmet movement is trying to develop, and that all good people who are working in the world are trying to effectuate in the populations of humanity and in the real needy urban centers of communities all over the world.
When I see what the Hizmet movement is doing, is focusing on education as a means of social betterment, not only in bringing about changes in the Muslim community, but the improvement of society around the schools that are built up. It just strikes a very important chord.
Fethullah Gulen and from his workers seem to internalize this concept that Islam addresses the common needs of all humanity. And so the focus and concentration on education, on mathematics, and on science, and on scientific innovation, I think strikes the right balance.